What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So we're talking about Irma Vep, the new limited series on HBO coming from A24 Studios. This will be a spoiler-free discussion on episode 1. There might be some slight spoilers, so I feel like I need to in order to get my point across on some things. But in general, this will be spoiler-free. And for this video, I'm just going to be giving you guys my thoughts on the first episode. So if you guys enjoy this review, please make sure to like it. Please make sure to subscribe if you're new. But let's discuss Irma Vep episode 1. So I'm going to be honest, I went into this episode completely blind. I did not watch the trailer. I know that there is another movie called Irma Vep that was made back in the day starring Maggie Chung. I did not really get to watch that. I might watch it now before episode 2 just to get a better idea of like where the story is going to go, because honestly for this episode, it didn't pull me in too much. People that maybe know the story of Irma Vep and like what's to come, maybe they saw the previous movie, maybe they know that this first episode maybe was a great startup, maybe it was a great foundation, because like we don't know what's going to come. But for right now, for what this story is, which it stars a woman named Mira, who is played by Alicia Vikander, who is also in Ex Machina, which I think is a personal top 10 A24 movie for me. I think she's a great actress, and I thought she did really well here. And so she plays a character who is a big-time American actor, stars in a lot of blockbusters, sort of like this, stars in like a superhero film, so like a Scarlett Johansson, right, who's best known for Black Widow. And so she's going to be starring now in this French film, and the French film is based off of this old 1920s silent film that's also French called The Vampires, and Mira's going to be playing Irma Vep, right? And so that's like the main gist of the story, and that's all the synopsis really gives you. It just gives you that. So when I first read that, I said, okay, that's kind of like a very basic plot, but it also creates like this blank canvas to maybe where they can explore the story and have all these nice twists and turns I didn't expect. But for this episode, it just gave me that. It just gave her sort of coming into the film, meeting all these people. There's a lot of like interesting relationship problems that she has to deal with concerning a past lover. I thought that was sort of interesting. Focuses on another actor in the film who wants to have a sex scene with another one of his past lovers. So a lot of it was about seeing if this mainstream actor could make it in, like a low budget indie film, I guess, which is what she's starring in now. And then also these relationship elements concerning her and others. There's also a dynamic between the director. He has some sort of issues as well. He takes some sort of pills, and now the insurance policy for the film are concerned about him, and his well-being, and they see him as a liability now. I thought that was an interesting, storyline to throw in there. But that's like the three main things I feel like is what this episode gave us, and I just didn't feel like enough. It didn't really live up to the hype or the excitement for me when I hear about an A24 limited series. Like I said, A24, I have some expectations with them now. They give me a lot of thought-provoking, crazy, weird storylines that, other studios might be scared to do. So when I heard an A24 limited series about, like this silent film sort of exploration, I don't know really what it's about, it piqued my interest. And I have to say, by the end of this episode, my interest is just not really in it. This episode did feel very pretentious, which I guess you kind of have to be when you're making something about an old silent French film. Like, that's kind of like how you can't really get more pretentious than that, in terms of like watching movies. So, I mean, I guess you have to be, but I feel like this was just like pretentious just to be pretentious. I hate using that word because I feel like I have watched a lot of pretentious movies. But, a lot of those movies do have something to say, and they're thought-provoking, and they're filmed really well, and, I enjoy watching those. A lot of the Criterion collections may be seen as pretentious movies, but when I watch them and when others watch them, maybe you can get something else out of it. For this episode, I don't want to knock it too hard because it was only the first episode. It felt like it was pretentious without really saying anything. A lot of it, they were talking in French, which I'm not saying talking in French is a pretentious thing. I'm just saying that when you're talking in French about making like this old silent French film, which is also very meta. This episode's named after like the episode that they're airing. It's super meta, the show. But it's like, it's pretentious in a way that it's not saying anything. Like they're just like talking about an old silent French film, and they're acting like they know it, and the other characters are acting like they know it, and they're talking about the history of the film. And it's sort of like, are you trying to like educate us on the film? Are you trying to educate us on like the backstory of this French film? Like, what's really like the gist of the story here? Like, what are you trying to get at? Are you just trying to tell us like the history of this film? I just feel like it was pretentious without saying anything. I can't really say anything else like that. I also feel like I didn't really care for any one character. Even Mira, she does come up as likable. I did enjoy the actress's performance of her, and I appreciate her. I guess as someone who appreciates like good acting and like I guess method acting as well. Even though Jared Leto has sort of messed up method acting for like all these actors, so anyone that does method acting is seen as like crazy and going way too far. But like that's what like her character's trying to do with this Irma Vep character. So I thought that was like interesting to see like her wanting to do method acting, like this mainstream actor trying to explore different horizons in the film industry. Like I guess like that's interesting in a way. But I didn't really like. I didn't love her character. I didn't connect with her character. I don't like the director. I didn't really. He's fine. Like I think, like I said, the insurance stuff is interesting. But it wasn't enough to really excite me or thrill me like how I expect an A24 movie would. So maybe my expectations going into this were too high. Maybe I was expecting this crazy thing when it never really was that. Or maybe it does get crazy and I'm going to look back at this video and say to myself like, dude, you had no idea what was coming. And, people that, like I said, people that have seen the original Irma Vep know the story. So maybe they see this, me talking as like, yo, like this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. The story gets crazy. Trust me. Like, I don't know. That's why maybe I'm going to watch the video. Watch the original movie and then come back and hopefully enjoy this episode maybe a little bit more. But I also felt that the dialogue was a little bit off. It was sort of like, I don't know, the way people were talking to each other didn't feel very organic. It felt very like forced, and at times it did flow well, but at other times it just felt really off. Even with the last line of this episode, I don't want to spoil it, but I was like, really? Like that's how you're going to end the episode just like that? Like it gave me nothing to even look forward to, or nothing to even like sink my teeth into or like digest or like, like, okay, the episode's over. Like, what is there to talk about? I was going to do a recap and review for this, but I'm like, I could really recap everything that happened in like 5 sentences, I think. And there's really nothing else at that I felt that was that important to really talk about or discuss or dissect, which I feel for an A24, project, like you should have that, in my opinion, I think. So my rating for this episode is a 2.8 out of 5. I thought it was fine. I really like, for the whole episode, I was like, I know it's going to get better. I was like, this is A24, like, the acting is good, like, the lighting is good, cinematography was like fine. It does feel like a very clean project. And, but I was enjoying it. I thought like, okay, like this is fine for what it is. I'm sure it's going to get crazy at some point. By the end, it's going to like at least get me excited for the next episode. But nah, it was just like going around in circles. Like, it was like, okay, like we'll talk about this scene and then like we'll see the scene and they even show like the old footage, which is also felt like pretentious in a way, like seeing this old silent film, which I love silent films, but like I feel like mainstream audiences or anyone really like just watching it was like, I don't know. It's I hate saying pretentious, so I don't want to keep saying it over and over again. But that's the vibe I got without even saying anything important or like there's no message. It was just like, oh, we're gonna make this old silent French film, and this mainstream actor's gonna play Irma Vep, and she just tried to embody this character, and that's it, And she's trying to get back with her ex, who's really annoying, and that's like what I got from this episode. Like I said, I went in blind. I didn't even watch the trailer. So this is just my reaction to it. And that's pretty much it. So for people that have watched it, let me know what you think of the first episode. Do you agree with me? Did you guys feel the same sort of way where I was sort of bored at times, or not really bored, but like I wanted more, from A24 I expect a little bit. Or did you guys love this? Anyone who has watched the original or knows this story, please comment down below. Is this just like a bad take? Like, does it get crazier? Does it get good? Like, I want to kind of know like what's in store for me, because the vibe I got from this episode, I didn't enjoy it too much. Like, I need a little bit more excitement from my A24 project. So that's just me. But comment down below what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed this review, please make sure to like it. Please subscribe if you're new, as I will either be doing another spoiler review like this, or maybe a recap in episode 2 if there's a little bit more to dissect. Then I will do a whole recap and spoiler talk, or maybe I'll just do a full review when the limited series is done, and that's when we can talk about it more. But subscribe if you guys are new so you can keep up with those videos. And that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching like always, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a great rest of the day.